Hi guys at Green Bay Fire, it's Kevin Brevshinsky at Brevco Builders, out here today on a job site in your territory, just a few blocks away from one of your fire stations. I'm here intentionally just so that you're aware of this type of construction in your area. These are actually throughout Brown County, in many counties, so even if you had the thought that this wasn't in your area, just remember your MABUS Division 112. You may be called into a different territory where these do exist. And just to make you aware, they do exist. This is in the city limits of Green Bay. It's next door to a very similar type of construction. But here we are. Upon entering this home, you've noticed we've taken the step out. We call it an easy living design, no step entry, whatever you want to call it. All we've simply done is taken the steps out. For your attack teams, your rescue squads coming into a type of building like this, at first glance, from the road elevation, it's quite tricky as well. They do look similar to any other typical type of construction, and that was the intent. We're trying to make these things look residential, and they are residential. That's the important factor here. We didn't want it to look commercial in any means. So just pulling up, at first glance, you may catch a few things, and you may not. In the future, we'll have more videos that try to help you identify this type of construction as you're arriving, but keep in mind, if there's no step onto your front stoop of a building anywhere, you should be asking questions. What's going on with the floor system? Is this a full foundation? Is this a frost wall? Is it a floating slab? This particular project is a full foundation, no entry step, and the floor system is actually embedded in the concrete foundation wall. Now we're going to be taking a short video down in the basement of this home just to give you guys a real clear picture of what's happening. It may alarm you, but please rest assured, this has met all engineering, architectural, UDC code, and your local building inspection restrictions. They're built really well, they're just different. And it's something that if you're not aware of, we're here to make you aware of it today. So we'll see you down in the basement here in a couple of minutes, and we'll start over with a new one for you. Okay guys, we're down in the foundation of the home that we just looked at from above at the garage level, the entry door from the garage to the house. It's a no-step home, and the things that you're going to find with this type of construction, you're going to find that the wood trusses, these are engineered wood trusses, and they're pretty standard in the industry today. Things that you're going to notice on this particular home are, it seems like these studs were trimmed off. And that's actually the intent. This is not a mistake by any means. This is a top load-bearing truss, or a top cord truss. This portion of the truss, right from this gusset plate to the end of this, actually has no bearing on the impact of the structure of this building whatsoever. This is basically on here for if this were to be a finished basement. They have something attached to drywall to, but you'll notice it is trimmed off completely. This is not attached to any part of the structure, and once again, it's a top load-bearing truss. And what you're going to find is the triangulation in the trusses. If you see these shapes that are triangular, that's actually where you're getting the support, or the majority of your support throughout the building. If you ever are in a situation where you have a burning building, you entered it for life safety reasons, of course. If you start to pay attention to what's happening with these floor systems, if portions of them are burning out, remember that the key to the strength of the system is the triangulation, the shape of these web trusses. That's what holds it up. But back to this home, this floor system is attached on the inside of the foundation wall via these green treated plates held on by these big concrete anchors. The top cord of the truss is resting on top of that. It's actually a ledge board that's been fastened to the side of the foundation wall. And if we step back a little bit further, we'll give you a good camera view of above that green treated plate, and you'll actually see concrete in that region. And the area you're looking at is up above this green plate. You can see a little bit of white concrete. That's what it is, it's concrete. This isn't your typical everyday construction. Typically you would have a floor system stacked on top of your concrete foundation wall. This is completely constructed differently. As you can tell, You may not have seen this before, maybe you have, but this is how we're creating no-step entry homes anywhere we are today. But keep in mind, floor system is fastened to the inside of the walls. Does it have an impact if there were to be an implosion? How does that floor stack fall? Just things for you to keep in mind. At this point, this finished basement is not finished. Things that in the industry I would like to see happen are if there were fire codes that said this all had to be sheetrocked. I think that would definitely cut down on the loss of integrity in the structure by charred members, things like that. But if you're ever in this situation, you get into a basement like this and you see this is not poor craftsmanship. This is not a mistake. This is truthfully the intent of this design system. There's nothing wrong with this. This is typical of the industry, and it's a top load bearing truss. This particular portion that's trimmed off has no bearing on what holds this home up. So things for you to be aware of. These aren't mistakes. This is how it's built. And we're going to take another video up in a bedroom in the first floor, and I'll show you the other impacts of a no-step entry home. And it may be things that make you wonder, how do I ventilate this? If this particular building had no windows in it and it was a no-step construction, how would you ventilate this basement other than through the staircases or simply through the floor system? Because you won't be able to cut through on a typical box sill because this is not stacked above. So don't think you're going to come with your axes and penetrate the concrete. We're going to have to look at this in a totally different direction if you were trying to ventilate, if your staircases had failed or there was no ventilation possible, what that means. But just food for thought for you, not typical. It's in your city. We're going to go up and take a tour of a bedroom and we'll show you the other impacts that this type of construction has in the building world. See you in a minute. Hi guys, we're back with you. We're up in that bedroom we were just talking about earlier. I want to talk to you and show you a few of the impacts that you have when we talk about potential ventilation through a box sill. Not always typical, but in a typical type of construction, it could be a way you could ventilate if there were no windows. Now this type of construction, if there's no windows, you're going to have a hard time getting through because these are concrete walls. As you can see, this is bedroom, carpet's not in, and after this home is completely finished, you won't even recognize the differences in this style of home. That's why it was critical to get you in here at this point. The walls have been painted, windows are trimmed out, baseboard is installed. But what I want you to do is take a closer look at what we're doing here. This is your plywood, your OSB decking that rests on top of your floor truss system. The other interesting thing here you see is this is the top of the foundation wall. This is concrete. So this is a sure sign that, well, yeah, your floor system is embedded in the concrete. Now, if you remember back earlier in the video, we talked about the Doug furs or the treated plates, the ledger board that we would rest the truss system on. This is the inside edge of the wall where that takes place, just down lower where we just were. So what happens is we can create a flush deck, and what that does is prevents soil on the exterior from bearing on wood. So we don't get rock problems, and we can make grades proper, but this is truthfully how you should make a no-step home with a full foundation. So this is the unique aspect of it. However, typically what you would see is your walls would be stacked on top of your floor system. And your floor system is typically, in a traditional style of home, stacked on top of your foundation wall. And you can see this is completely different. So just food for thought. You don't typically ventilate through a box sill anyway, but if you had the need, in the proper event, if you had to use that type of ventilation, you're going to be having a hard time doing it here. It's going to be less successful. So just food for thought, and I'm sure this is going to create some questions on your part, and I'm going to do my best on our end, and any other builder would be willing to help you with this as well. Anybody in the Brown County Home Builders Association, excuse me, would love to take advantage of training you guys, working with you as far as construction goes. There's not as many companies doing this type of construction as there are probably a traditional style where the floor system is stacked on top of the foundation wall. But the experts on this project any expert in the Brown County Home Builders Association membership, I'm sure would be glad to take the time to educate you on what's happening in the industry. So I think we're going to end it here for right now. Future videos, we're going to show the exteriors of these homes, potentially what they look like. And I'm going to talk to some of the contractors and see if there's a more definite way for your captains or your bat chiefs to actually recognize the differences between these homes and a traditional style home. You're pretty sharp guys. I think you have a lot of education in those fields anyway, but we just want to make you aware the differences that are happening and potential areas where things that are sure tale signs of what's happening with these style of homes. So thank you guys very much, and if you have any questions, always feel free to contact me. I'm always available and willing to do whatever I have to do to help you guys out. Stay safe, and thank you very much.